Alright, I think we are live. Hello everybody. Hello cup drinker, my dear cousin. I saw you talking shit over on your channel in your last Elden Ring video. I saw it. I saw you dying a bunch too, so congrats. But yeah, hello everybody. We're doing just a quick stream tonight, just gonna do an hour because it's been a long work week. So I'm not sure how much brain dev power I actually have. Game dev power. See. I don't know how much brain power for game dev I actually have tonight, but I think I have about an hour's worth. So we're going to start our next stream project here today. I'm hoping to do a couple streams of this over like the next few weeks. Then around like the end of February, we'll probably swap back over to doing a couple of UEFN streams. We might do like a one-off skill learning stream sometime in the spring, and then we'll swap back over to another Kid Icarus arena probably after all of that. So I'm going to try to, instead of doing one long project for like half a year, not doing anything for a few months and then doing another long project for half a year. I'm going to try to break it up into smaller projects and smaller maps that we swap out a little more frequently on streams. So for the Kid Icarus stuff, for those that don't know what it is, I know Cup Drinker here knows what it is. He's a real one. We're probably like the only two that know. The Kid Icarus fandom is dying. I think Chris Pratt apparently is a Kid Icarus fan though, so we got Mario. But incredible 3DS game. It's actually a sequel to two other games that were on the like Super Nintendo days. But Sakurai, the guy behind like Smash Bros. And Kirby, really like brought it to life in an amazing 3DS entry. And then they make a joke about waiting a long time to do another entry in the franchise. And it wasn't actually a joke. We haven't gotten a sequel, remake, remaster, none of that. Not even so much as a port or any like backwards compatibility with it. So it's been stuck on the 3DS forever. I've been saying I want to stream Kid Icarus Uprising. It's still a goal of mine to figure out how to stream it at some point this year. But I've been saying that ever since I started streaming. When I started streaming, the Switch had already been out for 2 years, so I kept thinking any day now they're gonna port it. Any day now. And we just celebrated 6 years on Twitch. So I've had, for our first stream project of the year, I said screw it. I'll do it myself. So we're going to start remaking some of these arenas in Unreal Engine 5. We're not going to get too far today, like I said, just an hour, so we're probably just going to do a really quick paper design, and maybe if we have time we can start moving around some block out pieces, but that might be something for next week instead. So yeah, that is our goal here. I put a poll up in our channel Discord, and the winning map was a map called Forgotten City, which I think is the best map to start with actually. Very basic, very primitive shapes, but like good core, like decent arena design. It's not the best map of the bunch, but it's certainly not the worst, and even in terms of general arena like standards, it follows a lot of the core principles, so this is probably the best map to start with. The runner-up was Spiral Tower, which admittedly I don't think is actually a good PvP like free-for-all map, but it would make for an excellent capture the flag map, and it's not too fun to play against AI, but playing against real people in the 3DS games kind of light versus dark team deathmatch essentially mode, it is really good to coordinate with real people, because it has like a bunch of flatland that you spawn in on. Think kind of sea salt spray rig in Splatoon 1. How you spawn in this flat stuff, but the objective is much further out between you guys and elevated. That's essentially Spiral Tower. So you could like take the tower, you could back up your most valuable teammate and try to hold the line, but also feels fun to defend, fun to invade. But that has a few more mechanics in play that aren't currently in this Lyra template we're going to be using. The Lyra template, or the Unreal template we're using, is the Lyra one. It is free to download with Unreal Engine 5. It's a basic like third-person shooter PvP arena deathmatch template. I'm not a gameplay designer, I'm a level designer professionally, so I don't do great with hooking up all the gameplay stuff, so I like using these pre-built templates to give us a starting point. We used this template last year for our pumpkin patch arena. I do a lot of arena design both professionally and in my personal work, so this is kind of just like home sweet home to me. But the pumpkin patch map we did last year used it, but we ran into a lot of issues with that map when I realized the AI could not jump up or use any jump pads. Their nav wasn't configured to do that by default. I even placed all the default nav stuff and then looked at the maps that came with the template and realized they weren't performing that way as expected in those maps either. So I was like, man, where am I gonna find like a good template, like an arena PvP where the AI doesn't jump up? And you can't jump in Kid Icarus Uprising unless you use a jump pad. And I don't believe this map has any jump pads, so this is the perfect starting point. This template's actually perfect for it. The only thing is I'd like to make the guns in the Lyra template at some point, scale them down and make melee attacks a lot harder hitting to reflect how the 3DS game plays, but I'm not doing all that today. I'm not gonna do any of that. Spiral Tower has tragic memories. What was your worst ass whooping on Spiral Towers? And was I the cause of it? If so, I'm sorry, man. I know you were like probably a kid. You were a kid when this game came out, but I just needed to teach you. I needed to teach you a lesson about the real world. 3DS games are real life, I say. But anyway, you may be looking at these pictures and thinking, wow, you couldn't get any better pictures than that? No, I can't. There's just not a lot out there on, not only this game, but, it's not lost media by any means, but it might as well be now that the 3DS eShop shut down and we don't have this anywhere else. So all I could find was this one picture on the wiki, and then I looked through someone's playthrough of them just like playing through all of the arenas very briefly, and these were all the screenshots I could grab of this one. I do have the game up on my 3DS. I don't have a capture card for it. You're like an elephant noise. What was that? Oh, that was the laundry. So let me pull the map up on here, but what we're gonna do is we're going to make a quick paper map. And we'll see what happens. Let me set the HP up way high so that I don't get like spawn killed here while doing research. But yeah, I'm hoping to make a couple of these arenas throughout the year, and I'm hoping to eventually like improve a bit of the gameplay and tweak it a bit, and use this as a project to kind of improve my gameplay design skills a little bit. The furthest I've gotten with like gameplay design stuff is some implementation, learning like travel systems, traversal systems, and mission systems. I can work with combat systems. I've worked with several combat systems once I'm onboarded on how they work. I've never like made one or altered one even that severely, because that's just outside of what I do. I'm more of a visual level designer, though I've done a lot more scripting and stuff recently. In the past few years, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it, but if I had my way... No, I actually really like mission stuff. nowadays. But I want to keep growing out of my comfort zone, so might use this as like a sandbox to do so. I'm gonna go Team Dark. Screw it. Oh wait, I chose the wrong map. Dang it. Well, I'm gonna let that be for a moment. Scaling up and some staff guide charge shotted you from 100 to 30 in 2 charges. Yeah, so that's another thing, is while we're making these maps, we're gonna realize like some of them, they might seem like they just have bad cover options because we're working in Lyra. However, some of us may agree that there are ranged weapons like the staff in the original game. So there are some maps where you have just this flat open area you have to run through, and if you've got someone really experienced with a ranged weapon on the other team, you're kind of screwed. You're kind of screwed. Some of these maps do not provide good cover against snipers because they're really focused on melee. They're really focused on just run around and tough it out, but you can get some people that find the flaws. So I was even like looking at some of the maps, and my first instinct looking at it was, oh, I need to do a cover pass. And then I'm like, wait, I'm just doing a one-to-one recreation of this. Would it be authentic of me to give it better cover? Or would it be more authentic to not do a cover pass and make myself suffer? Because that's the real Kid Icarus experience, in my opinion. Is suffering. But yeah, these are the screenshots we have. Essentially, to break it down, I'll take some quick notes here while I'm yapping, but with Lyra, can't jump. Eventually want jump pads. Let me expand this box. But yeah, eventually we'll want some jump pads. Scale ranged AI down. Bump melee up. Oh, they're going. But yeah, I sadly don't have a capture card. Maybe this year. But I do have it up on my 3DS, so I am looking at it, mainly just to walk around and look at really any of the areas that I'm curious about. Wait, what does this corner of the map look like? It's basically a square, though. It's basically a square. There are 2 tiers of gameplay. This is a very common thing in arena design. You might be thinking, looking at some of these pictures, like, there is a path up here, like the ground itself would be our ground tier. Our upper tier would be this stuff in here when you like go up these ramps. But you might see, well, there's this like bridge up here that is accessible to players if you have a certain power-up that allows you to jump. It isn't accessible if you don't have that, or if you don't use a pickup, but it is kind of partially accessible if you have the right equipment. And you might notice that is a bit higher. So it's kind of like arenas are 2.5 tiered, in which the main points of gameplay are either on a ground tier or on an elevated tier. But you can still have certain like one-off points where you have a point go a little bit higher or you have a point go a little bit lower to break it up verticality-wise. If you have 3 full tiers of gameplay, then it starts to become a bit more of a labyrinth. You can do that, but that's a much more complex arena than just the basics. And a lot of times when you have like a free-for-all arena mode that's just kind of attached to a separate like story game, they're kind of just very fun arenas pumped out and meant to be simpler and more fun to run around in design than complex and wanting you to like use a map to get around it or anything. They're just meant for anybody, like if you have family over, like my like my cousin here. Like, if you have family over, just throw everybody into a lobby and say, okay, whoever survives, so that anyone can play them. So that 2-tier system is very good for that. So because of that, with this little, I'll put the paper design down here. No, actually, I'll move everything over. I'll put it over here. Where are my shapes? Shapes and colors. I like to use darker colors for the lower parts of the design, and then yeah, I like to use darker colors for the lower parts, and then the higher up you go, the lighter the color gets. That's what reads as readable to me, kind of that grayscale. Oh, but I have the, I see, I have the background dark too. Let me just raise it up slightly. Let me actually change the color of this background to be like a really dark purple. There. Yeah, whole tier, you die. Straight up. That's just how the world is. If you live life on whole tier, you're gonna die. It's already been 20 minutes. I haven't even done the paper design. But yeah, it's just 2 tiers. I'll put the upper tier here. Actually, what am I thinking? This can still be the same color. I shall stack them in a bit. Also, I use the same Miro for all our Twitch stuff, so shout out to like my schedule down here, no peeking. The Pumpkin Patch, the Stronghold, Oz Tycoon, and now this over here. I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm a game developer. I don't have the funds to be paying for more Miro things. Miro does give you 3 boards for free though, so I really like it for that. But I'm gonna make use of those 3 boards. Yeah, let's see. So on this bottom tier, I'm gonna have the upper left be our first spawn. Let me lock these. It's a bit curved. But we have, this is where the first team kind of spawns in. Let me see what is that 3 tiers? Yeah, that does go up to a 3rd tier. So right off the bat, we already have another tier where you spawn in. Actually, you know what the heck? I'll just start placing stuff. I'm trying to think of like where to put which tiers. I'm just gonna start placing stuff and I'll move them back and forth as needed. But yeah, for light and dark there are 2 spawn points for for the light team and the dark team. And then for the free-for-all, there's spawn points spread throughout. But yeah, if this one seems like an important spawn point, it's because it is. It's where the good team spawns in, so they are elevated. Let me see. So, I have this curved here because it's kind of a curved ramp at the bottom. That's not exactly the case, though. I'm gonna change. This is actually a hard edge, so I'm gonna change this to a rectangle, and it goes all the way across like this. And then there is. Oh, I need like a stairs icon. Let me get the stairs all pulled up. Hold on. I'm getting a work ping. Hold on. If I do have my Twitch stuff up, so if my coworkers are watching, hi. I got it. I got it. Let me just respond to this real quick. Let me lock back in. Let me lock back in. But yeah, we've got this. I was looking for a little stair icon we could use for the ramp. Oh, I need a transparent PNG. GG, we're not gonna find one. We're just gonna use another shit. We're just gonna use you. I guess we can't set a gradient here. So we'll just turn down your opacity. That's what we'll do for now. We'll use an opacity thing for the ramp. But there is a ramp that goes down here to the second tier. Okay, then the second tier has more of a ramp down. Along with another like rectangle portion. Let me remove the border. There we go. Okay, so this is our little spawn area for the first group. They are killing me in here. Oh my gosh. And then this kind of is all one big ramp. Could even like draw a bit. And do that. I'll do arrows pointing down. Ah, this is professional game dev, y'all. I'm so serious. If if you're in game design and you aren't breaking out that shaky hand draw tool, Microsoft Paint every once in a while, what you doing? Yeah, like I really just have a mirror board for each category of personal game dev stuff I do, and then I just keep adding on to that. Like, I don't think I've ever run out of space on a mirror board, personally, Tapman. It's probably possible, but like, in my personal and professional work, it's never happened to me yet. Oh my gosh, they cornered me inside. Where am I? Okay, so then we got, for anything that is not on a tier, it's just like a complete wall. We're gonna just use good old black here to show that it's a blocker. You might notice this lovely little alleyway here. You might think, Emily, you're a professional arena designer. You've shipped AAA arenas, Emily. This, in a game where you can't jump, wouldn't getting backed into this corner be deadly? Because you have no way to run, there's nowhere to go. Yes, it is very deadly. That's as Nintendo intended. That corner is, if you fall down there off of spawn by accident, you gotta call it. Like, there's no coming back from it. Excellent memories. Just falling down there and being like, my life is finished. Okay, I think that's about where the cutoff. Actually, no. I have this all like way too big. Or no, I don't. I'll extend this down here. But we have that. I'm gonna put up the walls for, there's basically this little interior portion. The top left, and bottom right corners are kind of all this exterior portion, and then there's this like ruined building in the upper right of the map here. Who shot me? I'm trying to do game development here. Why is the AI being mean to me? But yeah, there's a little opening there. And there's another wall. Just got done drawing in MS Paint. Hey, MS Paint's the GOAT. In a world where like Photoshop prices have skyrocketed so tremendously, and they can now steal your data for AI. I mean, I'm not gonna say if you use Adobe, you're evil, because I do have Premiere Pro. It's like, even though they ruined 2025, it actually pissed me off, like what they did to this year's version of Premiere Pro. They changed a lot of like just very good natural things and made them just worse, which I don't know what I expected, to be honest, but they did it. But yeah, Photoshop itself, I'm like, why would I get Photoshop when I have MS Paint? That's all you need. But I do think for level design, having some sort of flowchart tool actually, it's good for one, practice making flowcharts as any sort of game designer. Like narrative design, gameplay design, level design. If you're any sort of if you're any sort of game designer, having a flowchart system, just to communicate your thoughts and have them very readable to other people, especially, is super important. Actually, I don't need to put a blocker here because this arena goes all the way up here. Actually, maybe I'll just layer stuff with opacity. I won't delete this yet, but I might be able to do the paper map all on top of each other. I might not need a second tier visible in the paper map, but just know there's 2 tiers of gameplay. Okay, then we have, I didn't count how many sides this is. Let me try to, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's an octagon, and we're gonna make it an octagon. Octagon, where are you? They've got everything but an octagon. That's crazy. Oh, there it is. I was being silly. So, what do we color this? I'm gonna actually color this the same as the background. There is just a giant hole in the map that you can fall into. It's a real thing. You can simply fall into this hole. Oh, my lead my lead had sent me a picture of what he thought was a bug, and I'm like, no, that's working as intended. It's nothing player facing. And he's like, oh, I thought that was messed up. I'm like, nah, if it works, it's good. If the player don't see it, the player never has to know. But anyway, speaking of good design, there's just a giant hole that you can like kick players, because you can like, some attacks have knockback in this game, right? So there is just, if you knock back a player, you can just throw them into the pit. In fact, I think it's a lot larger than this. It's like it's a pretty large void. And then let me copy this and expand it a bit, and we're gonna put this. Actually, put you in front. Or I shouldn't have done that. Bring you to front. And now we need a slightly darker color of you. I'm cooking, I'm cooking. Show that it's lower. Boom. It's not really locking in place well, but there's just the giant void that you could fall down into. In fact, just group these together now. It's a much larger portion of the map here that you could fall into. I think this is a lot higher. You can take screenshots. Oh my god. Dude, seriously? Like, legitimately. Any screenshots you can get of just standing around different corners of the map but not moving is like the most valuable information on the planet. I kid you not. So if you could do that for, what's this called again? Forgotten City. And if you want bonus points, Spiral Tower as well, because even though it's a few months away that I'll get to that one, probably, with the other stuff I want to check out in the spring, I will forget. I will forget that you can take the screenshots by then. And I will forget to ask you. No, the match ended. No, that's okay. Let me muscle memory this from what we have. So yeah, we have the giant hole, so there is a ramp that goes up right there. It'll take a while to send. Oh, no rush. So for those interested in this, I am going to be uploading. The VODs are on Twitch automatically after stream ends for 2 months. And then, ooh, it gave me the ore club. Oh. But the VODs are on Twitch automatically for 2 months. I have started, it takes a day or two for me to export them, but I have started exporting most of our VODs up to a YouTube archive channel. It is also Emily Cookie Dough on YouTube, so you can find those there where they won't be gone after 2 months because it's an archive. So if you are watching from that YouTube archive channel and you're binging through, maybe at this point we have a bunch of Kid Icarus arenas done. Maybe I've found a bunch of other Kid Icarus people and you want to start the playlist from the beginning. I hope you are enjoying the content. I hope we've gotten a lot of work done. Humble beginnings. Let me see. Where does that ramp start? Oh, it's a wide ramp. It's like 2 ramps, right? Oh no, that's just the size. That's the default size of them. Okay. So we got a wide ramp here. Oh, there's a cutout. There's a little cutout in the wall here next to it, so there's so much going on the screen. And then we have the third tier of gameplay here. There's actually like a platform up here. This is where having layers would come and handy, like being able to hide each tier. It's a little bit trickier to do that in Miro. I'll have to like manually group them and like move them off of each other, I think is what I've done in the past. Who just exploded me? Oh my gosh, I'm trying to do level design here. For this one, let me actually look at the picture again. I don't remember if there's another pitfall in, and I don't have the flying one shoot. For now, I'm going to leave it filled. I don't remember if there's another hole to fall in this little, like, circular piece here. Oh yeah, there is a jump pad next to, or wait, the jump pad sent you there? Hold on. Oh, it does! Okay, so it is filled. My DS is gonna die! No! No! I'm gonna have to muscle memory all of this. Or wait, I have the charger. What am I doing? My DS. No, hang on. Okay. We're alive. Okay, so now that I'm up here, I can see that... Yeah, this is here. This is a little more this way then. And we've got a circle. A smallish circle. It's really not that big, but we got a circle here. In that case, this can probably go all the way down here. It kind of looks like a half note or a quarter note. My god. I know what music is. I can read music. We've got that there. There's a little cutout under here. I'm trying to think how I want to show that. Send this to the front, send you like right here. And that'll be send you to the front again. Turn down the opacity a little more. Okay, yeah. So there are blockers beneath. Trust me. They're definitely there. I swear. I would not lie to you guys. Okay, cool. But that's there. This is our fun upper third tier. Let's get the second tier on the outside portion here. There's like a mini arena in the arena here. And yeah, don't worry, bro. Take your time. I'll just be working on this on stream, honestly. So I'm not gonna, I have enough going on with the work and with trying to touch up some of the other Fortnite creative maps before we return to it next month. So I've got plenty of other stuff to be doing. Leave this transparent because you can walk underneath, right? Yeah, you can completely walk underneath this part. Runs basically all alongside that. Is this another circle-y thingy? That's just a blocker. Okay, cool. So we've got this mini arena. Goes a little out that way. And then we Then where does it go? Then we hit another ramp down. I'm gonna just draw. Actually, yeah, for all of these pieces, I'll draw where they go down. Because my method of telling what's a ramp or not is starting to not work as well. But I'll raise the opacity because this is firm underneath. Get rid of the arrow. And this right next to it, I died again. Yeah, this right next to it is a blocker. I think we have what? We have a hexagon? Yeah, we have a random little hexagon blocker. Or it's not even a blocker because it's at, this one's interesting, it's at the second tier height. But there's no way to get onto it unless you're just over there already. So it's just kind of chilling. Okay, this is a little thinner than I thought it would be. Let me lower that. This is a ramp. So we have a ramp right here. It doesn't really go anywhere except just into this cutout against the wall. Which is cool. So yeah, basically we have this. It doesn't go all the way to the opening either, so we're just... It's basically just that, I guess. Let's move this back up again. Because I goofed on the spacing. Why did it add a connector? This is... I mean, this is a, no. A flowchart maker, so I keep having all these connector issues. Because it's trying to turn it into a flowchart, but I'm just here for the level design of it. Okay, so yeah, mini arena in there. And then what do we have here? Y'all aren't gonna believe this. It's another ramp. So it goes like that. Yeah, that's a solid ramp. And now all we have left, let's see, we got 13 minutes left and then got some plans for the rest of the evening. And I can feel my brain power giving out at this very second. But I think we'll be able to finish the paper design here. So that's good. Why did someone cast darkness on me? I can't see. I'm here exclusively to see the map. Why are they jumping me? Oh my gosh. Okay. We have this ramp. And then it becomes one of these open underneath situations. Around this point. They jumping me, my god, they're jumping me. Or, oh, okay, this is a thinner ramp. There's just railings attached. We've got a small thing across going into a wider version. And does this make it all the way across the map? It does, where we have... Oh my gosh, everyone's ganging up on me all of a sudden. I'm just trying to get my data. My goodness. We have a ramp here. We have a ramp here. It's like all the way over here, I think. There's this long strip of like solid platforming. I know it probably seems boring at this point, but when we look back at this, once we have the full thing completed, it'll be pretty fun. And then we have some little cover pieces. I feel like, so for the cover pieces, I'm actually gonna make them brown. They killed me. Cause yeah, they're just these little planters in here that are kind of like, I mean, very flimsy cover. I've done that where I've just put a square cube for cover, and then Art's like, what do we do with this? And I'm like, I don't know. So you just use whatever mesh you have that's a square. In this case, for this map, they had a bunch of these planters lying around. Got one here. We got one long one. Underneath this. Oh my gosh, they're killing me. We got a very long one. On the way to that piece. Are those really it? So there's just this whole corner where you can get everything rocked. I guess... I guess this probably feels a little too wide. So maybe I will add blocking in there. This feels a lot better proportionally if I... do this. Yeah, that feels a bit better. Because this area should not be that open. we'll do that for now. But that is... I need to put this, have this overlap that part, because there's a hole there. Okay, that's the paper design. Now, it looks very, very simple, and like I said, because it is, that's why we're starting with this one. 7 minutes to spare, awesome. Let me put down some idea for player spawns, or at least just mark them with like a little star here. But yeah, we've got player spawns here. I was respawning like up here. And then right in the center there. But the big things at play are that... Ooh, I will mark where the jump pad is too, actually, now that I think about it. Make it pink. And what we'll do is to show where the jump pad's going, we'll use a line. Okay, look up there. There we go. But yeah, the big things at play with this map are, I think in terms of meshes, these are all pretty primitive meshes, except for, we should think about cutouts first, so the rubble cutouts leading into the, interior, and like this little hole here, as well as the hole in the ground. So for things we want to cut holes out of in Unreal, or at least in Unreal 4. We are using Unreal 5, which has its own like modeling tools, kind of like very basic modeling tools at least with it. I'm a little more old-fashioned. I've done most of my projects on Unreal 4, so I like using the BSP method, which you have your static meshes, which those are like solidified and baked, and then you have BSPs, which you can move the like points on a bit more, and you can cut shapes in and out of it, and then you can bake it basically and turn it into a static mesh. So things like the cutout that drops you through the floor, we might want the whole floor to be a giant BSP so that we can cut that void out of it. This platform here, this bonus third tier here, will be a BSP so we can cut multiple shapes out of it actually. But other than that, I think this ramp here I might like model myself, or we might landscape it. That might be really easy to landscape and just like paint a concrete texture over. Everything else is super basic little primitive shapes, including, so I didn't make this, but this is the kind of default testing arena with the Lyra stuff. So I'll run around it just to show you guys that this is the template we're starting with. But yeah, it's set on team deathmatch anyway, which is good because that's similar to light versus dark. Instead of, there are like support pickups you can get in light versus dark. Here we'll just be using health pickups and gun pickups to substitute for that. We have heal and damage volumes, which there are other maps in Kid Icarus Uprising that could make use of that, like Lava Basin. We'd want a like maybe a damage volume for. It would be fun to add heal volumes into fun and proper places and some other ones. Like I don't think the water in Spiral Tower is hot spring water that heals you, but we can turn it into a hot spring that heals you in homage to the story mode of Kid Icarus Uprising, which made me cry when I was like 13, granted, but I shed a tear or two. But yeah, as you can see, I get torn up pretty quickly, being out in the open. Which is not fun. So, it may prove a little rough, but an authentic experience to light versus dark. But yeah, it won't be one-to-one perfect, but I do think this is a much better use of Lyra than... I was trying to push it to do other things that it wasn't really built out to do with our Pumpkin Patch one, so I ended up having to iterate and revise. Really good iterations came out of that, and that's why it's a portfolio piece. For me, is because I realized like the circumstances I was working under weren't going to change with the metrics for that map, so I revised it to work with that, and that's a very good thing to show. But now that we're back to personal work again, and my portfolio is like good at the moment, this is like the Unreal Passion project. I've said this off and on for years. I think I've said if Nintendo won't remake at least the light versus dark mode in Kid Icarus, I'll do it myself. That being said, this is, for legal reasons, this is a fan project that won't be published. I don't intend to like sell this and monetize this at all. I just kind of intend to have fun. The VOD's up on YouTube. My YouTube's not even monetized yet, but if it were, it would just be for my streaming content, not for like Kid Icarus stuff itself. So I didn't steal the game. I showed that I have it on my 3DS. So yeah, this is purely similar to our Wallace and Gromit Project Zoo study we did a couple years back. This is us remaking one of my favorite childhood like maps and modes and converting it into a modern game engine and seeing what we can learn from that experience. But yeah, we are just now at the hour mark, so I'm sorry we didn't get to any block out yet, but I do think my cousin's got us covered, sending those screenshots in the next week. I'll take some more notes on what I want to do with this, but we have the paper design down. I got to walk through the level a bit more and talk through it on stream. It will be good that I save these VODs, because then I can go back and listen to my yammering and see what point I was trying to make later. But yeah, I like to give myself more streams than needed to block out, because I like revising and iterating, but since we're just remaking, and since this is a 3DS map with very primitive shapes, I think with a longer stream next week, I'll try to do maybe like 4 hours for stream, our next chill stream. I typically do 3-hour weekday chill streams, 2 to 3 hours. But I think we'll want to bump that up for next week and do a nice long blockout stream and try to do a full initial blockout pass on this. And then the following stream, pickups and maybe placing some textures and stuff. Since it's just a bunch of grass and stone textures, might be able to find stuff off of the marketplace that I already have to do kind of a spit shine art pass on it too. So very quick turnaround on this map, because I want to see how quickly we can turn this around. And I'm also just excited to get to block out. But yeah, I got things to do. I got places to be for the rest of the night, but I want to thank you guys all for hanging out and chilling with me. I have been trying to get better about raiding folks at the end of each of our streams. Since it was such a short stream today though, let me check if anyone I follow is active, or if anyone's live in the Kid Icarus category. If not, we might just call it. Especially since it was such a quick and quieter stream as well. But let me check the Kid Icarus category. Oh my gosh, I think... Yo, someone is playing, and they're playing light versus dark right now. So yeah, I'm gonna throw a raid out their way. to end things. But thank you guys so much. Leave you guys with the dramatic Avatar music, I guess. And I will see you guys next week for the Blockout Pass, and otherwise I'll do a short stream Saturday morning, probably like 2 hours or something, a Sims chill stream, and then we will do a longer Sunday stream getting back to our Tears of the Kingdom 100%. So I will see you guys on the next one. We're gonna do a raid here. Bye bye.